everybody to the TradeBot weekly meeting. We've had a lot of crazy drama happening in the past week. A lot of excitement. Our token almost or over doubled in price, and it was just a very exciting times. So let's go ahead and get started, and then we can start the conversation. Okay. So we started a new engagement with Solbank Finance, and that's the reason why we had such a huge increase in our price. But before we go into talking about what is Solbank, let's talk about DeFi, which is the generic term for decentralized finance. So DeFi refers to a financial system built on blockchain technology that operates without traditional intermediaries like banks and brokerages. It utilizes smart contracts on blockchain networks to facilitate financial transactions. So basically what this means is these are autonomous applications on the blockchain, which means they just run by themselves. There is nobody that can interfere with them. The United States can't go in and put a block on the interest that you're earning with these applications. It's like having an entire bank just running within the blockchain itself. It's incredible technology. So the key features for this are decentralization, so no central authority. Transactions are verified by a network of nodes. So again, like if the country of Nigeria has a problem with your transaction, it doesn't matter. They can't stop it because the network of nodes is what's validating all of the transactions. Okay. There's also transparency. So all transactions are recorded on a public ledger. Everything is recorded. The interest that you make, any transactions you make, things like DeFi is just a very broad term. And we'll go over some use cases in a little bit. There's accessibility. So the great thing about DeFi is you're not limited to having a bank account. If you have bad credit, right, or you just don't have access to a bank, all you need is an internet connection. And if you have an internet connection, you can create a wallet. And if you can create a wallet, you now have access to all of the financial instruments that the DeFi ecosystem provides. All right. And then there's interoperability. So there are different teams, different companies, different communities, all creating their own DeFi apps. And, it's kind of like a little bit of Darwinism because some of these apps are scams, they're bad. But throughout the years, these apps have been built up, gain reputation, gain a following, and you can make it so that you have these awesome financial features available to you. And you can see this on like the Ethereum network. You can see it on the other blockchains, like Phantom or AVAX. But Solana does not have as many. It's just because it's harder to code in Solana, like using the Rust protocol. Okay, so introduction to DeFi part 2. Let's look at the use cases. So what does DeFi bring to us? What does it actually mean? You can do lending and borrowing. So platforms like Aave and Compound, they allow users to lend their crypto assets for interest or to borrow assets by providing collateral. So let's say I have Bitcoin and I don't want to sell my Bitcoin because I know Bitcoin's going to go up, right? But I also want to take part in another investment. I want to buy coin XYZ. What I can do is I can provide my Bitcoin as collateral to Aave, and then they'll give me like 50% of what that Bitcoin is worth. So if my Bitcoin's worth like 60,000 and I give it to them, I lend it to them basically. I put it up as collateral. They will then give me a loan for $30,000 that I can then use to purchase other things or do whatever I want with it. And then they charge me a little bit of interest for that. But when I'm all said and done, and I'm done with my loan, all I got to do is just take the $30,000 worth of loan, give it back to them, and then they'll give back that Bitcoin to me. So that's how it works. Decentralized exchanges. So you guys are already familiar with JupiterSwap and Radium. They're basically they're exchanges that allow you to swap tokens for tokens. Okay, so all of that underlying technology, that's always in the blockchain. It's always running. And you don't have to, if you knew how to code in the backend, like if you knew how to talk to the blockchain directly, you wouldn't even need the UI. the Jupiter Swap UI, the website. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you wouldn't even need the Jupiter Swap UI. You wouldn't need the Radium UI. If you knew exactly how to talk to the blockchain, you could communicate directly to it, and you'll be able to do a swap. So that's the power of a decentralized exchange. And DeFi itself, it's always running 24/7. Another feature that comes from DeFi are stable coins. So cryptocurrencies like USDC, they're pegged to a stable asset like the dollar. So this was always confusing to me at the beginning, but there's a very big distinction here. There is the US dollar, which is fiat, but then there is a crypto coin that is supposed to simulate a dollar. It's supposed to match the value of a dollar. So there are underlying technologies for USDC. So like USDC also experiences dips. The price might drop to like 95 cents or 80 cents, or USDC might get a pump. It might go up to $1.05 or $1.20. But the underlying technology makes it so that the USDC always gets balanced out so that it equals to $1. And that's all happening under the hood, and it's happening 24/7. That's the engines that DeFi brings to the table. And then finally, there is yield farming. So yield farming is basically like a savings account. Users can earn rewards by providing liquidity to DeFi protocols. So advanced, this is kind of going down the rabbit hole, but basically what you can do is, you guys are familiar with the liquidity pools. Those are the vending machines. If you deposit money into the liquidity pools, they give you what's called an LP token. That's like a receipt. And that's what you use to cash it back in if you ever wanted to take your money out of the vending machine. Those tokens can also be used as investment vehicles. Like you can deposit them in these yield farms, and then they'll give you some sort of interest that will that you can collect throughout the year. And they're usually like, they're pretty small yields, like 5%, 10%, and 20%, 30%. There's nothing crazy like what we see with Solbank. But this is what DeFi is, okay? Any questions? All right. So we have Solbank now. So Solbank describes themselves as Solana's first unhedged hedge fund. They merge proven investment strategies with the power of blockchain technology. Solbank delivers a secure, innovative DeFi experience designed to empower users and boost the entire Solana ecosystem. So these guys are first movers in this space. There are other yield farms, like there's like Tulip Garden, but there really isn't anything like Solbank that allows you to have the APYs that they're offering. So what does this mean to us? They have 2 staking programs right now. The first staking program is we can deposit TradeBot, and we will earn 38% APY. And the cost for the user to be able to do that is 4% fees. There's a 2% fee for deposit, and there's a 2% fee for withdrawal. If you decide to stay here, or if you decide to stake for a long period of time, then this is basically free profit and passive income for you. The next thing is depositing SB. So when you deposit TradeBot and you get a reward, it's not in USDC, it's not in Sol, it's in a new token called SB. It's their token, the Solbank token, okay? And then what you can do is you can take that Solbank token and you can either sell it, you can buy more TradeBot with it. I mean, it's a token, it's just a regular token. You can do whatever you want with it. But Solbank wants to incentivize you to keep the token within its platform. And the way they do that is they say, if you deposit your Solbank with us, I mean, you don't give it to them, you're just depositing it, right? It's still yours. If you deposit the SB token with us, we will then give you an APY of 500%. Okay? So their whole strategy behind this is they want to make it so that so many people are staking the Solbank token that there is a scarcity of tokens on the market, and therefore the price will be able to go up. All right. And then part 2, Solbank's business model. So right now they have high yields for meme tokens. And they do this so they can attract users. So what they'll do is they'll bring a token and then they'll bring in token communities and say, look, if your users stake your tokens with us, we will provide them 38% APY. So it's a benefit for you, because if your holders are staking, that means they can't sell, because the tokens are being used at that point, right? If they deposit their tokens, that means they cannot sell, and because they cannot sell, the selling pressure on your token goes down. And then the theory is, if the selling pressure goes down, then as more people start buying in, then the price will start going up. Okay, so those are the benefits. They provide this 38% APY as a benefit to token creators, and the token creators, to be listed on Solbank, have to pay a fee of 50 Solbank tokens. So for us, we had to pay $12,000 to be able to get listed on their site. So that's one revenue source that they have. They do 8-hour claims to maintain engagement. So as these token farmers are, after the token farmers have deposited their tokens into Solbank, every 8 hours they have to come back and click a button to say, claim my rewards. Okay? And so this creates an engagement, and this creates traffic to the website. Then they entice the users into staking SP tokens with the higher APY of 500% APY. So as these farmers are collecting free, so these are like samples. As these token farmers are getting free SP tokens, Solbank is then saying, okay, if you deposit those tokens, instead of selling those tokens, if you take those tokens and deposit them back with us, we will give you a 5% APY, a 500% APY. All right, and then they have these beautiful charts that show you how much money you can make if the price stays constant. And then finally, so why are they going through all of this? Because they want SP token holders to FOMO, and that happens, and they have metrics for this, right? Eventually, somebody is going to break down and say, I got to buy this token. I want to get more return for my 500% APY. So then that's when they start buying it. So that is the flow of traffic and how they monetize this feature. Okay. So some people say, like, this is not sustainable. Yes, it is sustainable, because they are directing people to buying the SP token, and they understand the psychology of investors, and X% are going to get engaged and buy the SP token, driving up the price. Now, these SP tokens, they are made up from thin air. They do not cost Solbank anything to make. And so they are controlling the flow of SP token creation. And in time, they use that to engineer the price of Solbank, of the Solbank token. So they'll let it pump, and they have dials to change so that the price will go up and then the price will go down. All right? And they're doing this with tokens that don't cost them anything. They're going to make millions and millions of dollars. They're all going to be ridiculously rich. Okay? But I want to show you this because you need to understand the process of how it works. And the risks involved with purchasing the SP token directly. Because if you look at their chart, they are definitely, I got to be careful how I say this, but you can definitely see ups and downs, right? You can also see that there's a lot of selling pressure on the token, right? Change a few dials, starts going up. APY high, everything goes down. They change a few dials, it starts correcting itself. Like, these guys are very intelligent. They understand investor psychology very well. So they are creating this volatility. Not all of them, but they do have some impact, right? There is some influence. But so this volatility is what drives their engine. And this is how they can profit. Okay? You just need to understand that. Okay? So strategic planning and goals. So we are engaging with the Solbank staking program. We want to use passive income from farming TradeBot to stake SB and show engagement. Okay, they have stated publicly that they will favor tokens that show engagement because they are here for profit and they are here to take care of Solbank's interests. Okay, this is a delicate relationship that the token holders and Solbank have. And if the tokens are just selling Solbank, if the communities are just selling Solbank tokens, then you're not providing any value to Solbank. And so therefore, I would not be surprised if they delisted a token because they're in it to take care of Solbank. Okay. Another strategy is to use passive income from farming TradeBot to purchase more TradeBot. Okay. By doing this, we create a feedback loop to grow our holdings and income. So what does that mean? That means if we use a portion of the claims that we get awarded from Solbank to buy TradeBot, and we're a tight-knit community, right? We had some people buy in before, and you're going to see some settling. You're going to see some people selling. But as a tight-knit community and as diamond-handed holders, we can use this claim income to then repurchase TradeBot and make the price higher. And by making the price higher, you then get rewarded with more Solbank tokens. So then you repeat the process. It's a feedback loop. Okay? And this feedback loop is what caused this right here. So, just a little bit of background information. We were being offered 115% APY, and our token holders were staking the token, but they were reusing the claims to buy TradeBot. And because of that, and because of the lack of selling pressure, we increased the price from, what is this? 1024 all the way up to 2809. Oh my goodness. Huge increase, more than double the price. Almost triple the price. So that is the power of a feedback loop. Now, right here is when Solbank adjusted all of the APYs. And according to their documentation, they stated this. They use dynamic APY to control the market, basically, or to not control the market, to react to the market. So this is when they reduced the APY from 115% to 38%. And then you can start seeing a leveling out here, right? And then somebody here sold, but then you can see it's starting to build back up. So there is value in this engine, but we have to be careful because we don't want to just leech off of Solbank. That means we're a bad actor at that point. We want to be team players with them. Okay? So let's go back to this. So the balanced staking approach. So this is what the main wallets are going to do. Okay? 50% staking in SB, 50% staking in TradeBot. The engagement benefits that come from this is we get increased API with active engagement. So they actually could increase this from 33% to like 66%, back to 115%. They can, it's totally in their power, and they have also openly stated that if you show engagement, we will increase it. Does that mean they'll do it for us? I don't know. But I don't want to, I don't even feel right being a leech against them. I do want to show some sort of solidarity with them. Okay? And then we also avoid the risk of being delisted by not focusing solely on TradeBot. Okay? Again, if we are focusing solely on TradeBot, then I would consider myself a bad actor. You get what I'm saying? Like, I would consider ourselves a bad actor. Just because if you were the owner of Solbank and you just came and you saw this token community, 100% sells, right? That looks coordinated. That looks like, yeah, these guys are not good actors. We got to get rid of them, type of thing. All right. And then finally, the promotional advantage. Solbank actually advertises us as a top 3 TVL token. So they let out a tweet, and you can see right here that we are in the top 3, and we're going up against Cheeks and Lab for that top #1 position, which I think we can do if we follow our strategy. We'll be #1.
Barry, can I just ask a quick question here?
Yeah, go for it.
So right now, as of last week, we were doing the farming. So now we're asking the teams to do an extra step. Is that what we're asking?
Yes, sir.
All right. So
Yeah.
this is the extra step. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So let me just open up the dev wallet. Okay, this is public information. You can see the dev wallet. All right. So the dev wallet is basically our fuel for feeding the TradeBot engine. Okay. There's a lot of tokens in there, and the reason that I also got listed with Solbank is because if they gave us the opportunity to stake this dev wallet, then that means that we can generate revenue from it without having to sell it. Huge, very huge. So as we start increasing the price, and we can actually sell those tokens for like 1 cent, 10 cent, 50 cent. You start selling at those prices, you're talking millions of dollars. Once we get those millions of dollars into our trading engine, we're self-sustaining at that point, and we are we'll keep building up both revenue streams basically. The first one being the trading engine, the second one being Solbank. Okay, so this is the dashboard right here for Solbank. Okay, I connected with my wallet. All right, if you want to farm TradeBot, you click on farm, and then you go here to TradeBot, and then you click deposit. Oh, cool! I can actually deposit a few. Let's deposit one. Let's deposit 1,000. So I'm going to deposit 1,000 TradeBot here. Okay. And so I'm going to click deposit. And when you do that, you're going to see a confirmation come up. I'm going to hit confirm. Okay. When you close out of it, and then, so after that, you can close out of it. And then when you go to pools, you're going to see that, oh, I just lost the reward. Shoot. Okay. You're going to see that the next reward is going to be in 7 hours and 59 minutes. Okay. And so you have to do it every 8 hours, come back, and then you can claim your reward by clicking this button right here. Okay. You can see here that every 8 hours, because of the amount of the value that we have of TradeBot, which is in our dev wallet, it's worth $667,000. We generate $200 worth of SP tokens every 8 hours. Okay. And so we can then use this to then either purchase more TradeBot or use it to stake Solbank tokens. All right. So once you get a Solbank, so once you click on claim, so by the way, do not click on withdrawal. Withdrawal will charge you 2% fee. If you do this by mistake, you don't do that. Okay. You can lose a significant amount of money if you withdraw prematurely. Okay. So just keep it in there. Yeah, go for it.
So I think it's worth pointing out, didn't you have an hour left on this? Now it jumped to 8 hours?
Yes. So whenever you make a
Point that out that
deposit.
we lost.
Yes.
We lost that.
Yes, we did. So whenever you make a deposit, it resets the timer to 8 hours and to 8 hours. Okay. So so like if I came here and I deposited lab token in here, it would reset this to 8 hours and I would lose this reward. Actually, I wouldn't lose it. It would just take that much longer to be able to get that reward. Okay. So in an hour, I could have gotten an extra $200, but because I deposited the 1,000 tokens, it reset my timer, and now I have to wait an additional 8 hours to get the reward. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So basically just if it's time's up, farm it, then deposit right after.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for the question. So this is how you deposit. Only withdraw if you are 100% sure that you want to remove the token, because they charge you a 2% fee for depositing. They charge you a 2% fee for withdrawing. And then to claim your rewards, you just click on this purple button here. It becomes purple. Click on that button. It's going to open up a confirmation screen. You hit OK. And then between 1 to 20 minutes, the token will then appear in your wallet. Okay. So if you go to your Phantom wallet, you're going to see that there is going to be some SP token in there. Okay. You don't see it right now, but you should see SP token in here. What you do with that is then you go to Jupiter Swap. Okay. And then here you can actually trade. So you would then type in Solbank and the SP token should pop up. And it says here we have a little bit. So then what you would do is if you want to follow the 50-50 staking strategy, you take 50% of that, you just click on half, and then you then buy TradeBot with it. And then you just hit swap. All right. And then with the rest of the SP token, you go back here to the Solbank site, you click on stake, and then from staking, you can then stake your SP token in here and hit stake. Okay. And it'll deposit in here and it will earn 542% APY. So what's happening is every 8 hours, new tokens are getting minted. And by the way, if I staked right now, my hours would reset to 8 hours. Okay. With staking, there are also no fees. So there is no fee to stake here. There is no fee to withdraw here. SP tokens also you don't have to claim every 8 hours. They automatically rebase, which means when you get a reward, it automatically gets put in to your balance, your staking balance, and it just continues to accrue. Okay. So they offer 542% APY. This is basically meaning that at the end of the year, you're going to have 542% more Solbank tokens. Okay. This is like a stock split. They are generating more tokens from on the fly, and they are giving them to you, and you're going to end up with 542% more as you continue to add to the staking pool. Okay. So, does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I do.
Go for it.
So, in this case, should we approach the strategy to where you, with the dev wallet, only purchase TradeBot, but everybody else does the 50-50 rule?
We can talk about that. For now, I'm just making a blanket strategy for 50-50.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right. So,
Yeah, I was trying to get off of mute there. Is there for the staking? I know the answer, but just for everybody else, for the staking, is there a time constraint on being able to withdraw it? You know, like other staking places have that. Do they have that to where?
oh no, they don't. You can stake it. You can unstake it immediately. So what Dennis is talking about is that sometimes some farming protocols force you to hold it in there for like 2 months or 1 month or a week, and then they give you a higher APY if you lock it for a longer amount of time. But with this, you can deposit and withdraw whenever you want. No fees.
And is there a fee? Oh, no fees.
No fees. Yep, no fees.
Did they change when we are farming? Did they change it to where it doesn't no longer it no longer stacks? Like when you claim your reward, it doesn't still stack? Because I thought you mentioned something that sounded it doesn't stack anymore.
No, it's if you go over, so like if I wait over an hour, and the next reward will start, the next time limit will start at 8 hours. And let's say I wait 10 hours after that, and I have 2 rewards accumulated. I can always come back and claim all of them. So you don't lose your rewards. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. The only caveat is the deposits.
What does that mean? Deposit? What do you mean?
Well, when you were
yes.
Oh, how refreshing.
Going into the farming.
Yeah.
All right. And you were doing a deposit.
Yeah.
That's the only time that the timer gets reset.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Um, all right. So I think that covers everything, guys. Does anybody have any other questions? All right. Well, you guys have a great weekend, and I will talk to you guys later.